Greetings, salutations, and hello world. My name is Connor. I'm representing Coder Dojo, Gilbert College, and today we have our first official online tutorial. Due to the recent pandemic that is going out, we cannot meet up in person to do our tutorials unfortunately, but that isn't going to stop us. And who knows, this could be a good thing. Today I'll be going through C programming. Now, C is a very basic language. It's a very good starting point because so many different programs run off the C source code. For example, JavaScript, Python, Arduino, and the list goes on. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, what is C? Well, C is a general purpose programming language. It is flexible and has many different applications. Very versatile and one of the easiest to start learning. Let us know in the comments, what area interests you and what would you like to do with C programming? Now without further ado, I'll get into the tutorial. Now, a good starting point that I personally believe is learning pseudocode and commenting. Now, pseudocode is pretty much you're just writing stuff down. So what do you want your code to do? Oh, by the way, any comments you want to do. For a single line comment, /, type out what you want, and the comment won't be in any line. By the way, I'm using a program called devc++ using the C application. You can use any different C program you want. If you're running a Linux-based operator, like any Mac OS or Ubuntu, you'll have C in your terminal by using Vim, but we will get into that later. If you wanted to comment a big chunk of stuff, /*, you can say, hi there, what you've been up to? You still there? Haha. Notice how this comment extends all the way down, and I can still type normally afterwards, closing it with *, then /. Now, pseudocode. Pseudocode is pretty much English. Oh. Change that to a /. It's pretty much English. What do you want your program to do? Well, I want my program to say hello to me. Then I want it to say goodbye after input. Pseudocode is a great way to write out your code when you're starting out, especially if you don't exactly know what you're doing. Because when you write down your pseudocode, it is much easier to look at from many different perspectives. Now, my first code. To start any function, we need to access a library. The library we're using today is standard input output, or stdio.h. H means header file. So how we access a library is we go #include $sign stdio.h. Now in devc++, it automatically puts an end bracket wherever you want to go. Some applications don't do that, so just make sure you close the bracket. Now we need to write up a function. Basic function for any C program is the main function. Int main void. Now I'll just explain a few things here. We'll get more detail in later tutorials. This function is essentially saying main is the name, int is what we're returning an integer, void means nothing. So anything in the brackets is what it's accepting. This function accepts nothing. Ever using a function, we need these little squiggly brackets. Whenever you're programming, it is a good idea to indent any new function you're doing, so whenever you have a squiggly bracket, just for good coding practice. Dev C++ also automatically indents for you, which is nice. Some programs don't. Just to indent, just hit the tab. Now, what did I say this main function wanted to do? I want it to say hello to me. So this is when we start talking about input and output. Something that the computer is doing to you is output. So to get an output, we want to do a function which is called printf, which is pretty much this function will say something to us. We put these quotation marks. Whatever we put these quotation marks in is what the program will spit out at us. So let's say hello world. If you want to go a new line after each thing you print out, you do \n within the squiggly brackets at the very end. With C, you always have to put a semicolon after every command you call. You don't have to do this at the end of functions, however, because they are whatever it's in these squiggly brackets, so that's fine. Now at the end of our main function, we want to return something. This little thing here, int, that's what we're returning. With our main function, you need to return an integer. For any main function like this, we don't actually need to return anything, but C makes us, so we return 0. Pretty much returning nothing. Now we have our first code written up. What do we do now? We need to compile it. Compiling pretty much just takes all our code and makes sure it's okay. In Dev C++, it comes with an automatic click and press compiler, so we'll just compile that. No errors, no warnings. We're all good here. But what if we had something wrong? Say for example, didn't have a return statement. Try compiling. Well, seems like we're all good there. What if our print statement was wrong? What if we just said print? Got an error. In Dev C++, pretty much every error is either self-explanatory or it'll tell you where you went wrong. Right now it says here we have one exit status, which means there's some syntax wrong in here. We obviously know it's that. What would happen if we didn't have the semicolon at the end of our lines of code? Oh, straight up, nope, something wrong there. Error expected a semicolon before return. So it's saying it should be there. Let's try compile again. Oh wait, no. Expecting another semicolon. Oh right. Yeah, forgot to put that in there. So let's compile again. See, we're all good. Now we hit the run button there. As you can see, terminal prints out, hello world. Let's give it some exclamation points. 3, precise. Compile and run. Hello world. There you go. Now I talked about before, say goodbye after input. How would I do that? Well, like printf is the computer saying something to you, our input function scanf is us saying something to the computer. Now, I'm just going to declare a temporary value here, scanf %d, which means an integer, so this is accepting one integer, little comma. We want %d to correlate to the address of I, so our little variable here. And semicolon at the end. So this printf goodbye \n, end it with a semicolon. Now let's see what happens here. Hello world, and it's saying here. So now you notice that the program hasn't actually closed yet. What would happen if I put in some random, I use data type integer, so let's say I put in some random integer 2. Goodbye. Program closes. So as you can see here, say goodbye after input, I gave it an input, said goodbye to me. Printf and scanf are really fun to play around with. The different data types, etc., I will go over in more detail in later tutorials. Let us know if you enjoyed this tutorial, if there was anything you wanted to expand on. Members of Coder Dojo YBC, you are members of our Discord, hopefully by now. You can chuck us a message, just give us a voice call now and then, and we'll be able to help you anything pretty much you want. Well, thank you guys, goodbye, enjoy your day.